My name is Peter Stoll. I'm a director at Marsh Commercial and head up the recruitment division based in Manchester. We've been providing bespoke insurance solutions for recruitment businesses for about 40 years. A lot will depend on whether the contract is just supplying more of the same staff. If so, then no, there's no need to tell the insurers and the policy will continue to cover you for the rest of the year. If you do move into a new sector, supplying different types of people, then yes, it's worth letting us know. Also, if you're supplying, say, HGV drivers and you're supplying a lot more of them, we may need to look at the indemnity limits again and maybe increase them to reflect the higher turnover. If you're transitioning from being a permanent agency into temporary placements, then yes, you will need to increase the insurances. Obviously, if you go into a new sector, there may be requirements in those sectors for different types of insurances. So HGV drivers will need driver negligence, medical staff may need medical malpractice cover, and it's always worth checking with your insurers to make sure that the policy covers you for the new sectors you're entering into. If a client presents their own terms and conditions, they'll almost certainly be more onerous than your own. And this could have an impact on your premiums. So watch your margin, particularly so that you don't just spend more money on insurance to try and win an account. If you want to try and negotiate out of those contracts, then it's worth speaking to a solicitor because it could have an impact on the business. So it's always something to be very careful of when accepting clients' terms and conditions. So apart from USA and Canada, most foreign countries are covered under our insurances. If, however, you've got a foreign subsidiary, you might need to comply with the local laws of that particular country. And so it's always worth asking whether or not we need to extend the policy to include insurances under a foreign legal jurisdiction. If you're planning on working with a new client, you may be concerned about their financial strength or any particular challenges in that particular sector. So it's always worth looking at credit insurance to protect the business against bad debts. It's also quite useful to be able to ask the insurers about the strength of a particular company to make your mind up whether it's worth doing business with them or not. This is obviously helpful in preventing any future bad debts of the business. If it's a division or a brand of an existing entity, then no. If the company is a subsidiary of a parent company, then again, probably not. If it's an associated company, then maybe yes, because there may be different directors or shareholders, so worth letting the insurers know. Well, this is a change of ownership, so we do need to let insurers know. If it's a change of the corporate vehicle to maybe a bidco or a topco, then these will need to be named as additional insureds. Any other change of ownership in the business needs to be reported to insurers because it could have an impact on the directors' and officers' liability insurances. Perhaps, particularly if there's an aggregate limit on the professional indemnity insurances, or if a client asks for a higher limit of indemnity, like a local authority asking for £5 million. It also may be that where there's an increase in numbers on a particular site, you may consider increasing the limits of indemnity for particular risks like employer's liability. If you have a number of HGV drivers and you have to increase the numbers, then yes, it's certainly worth increasing the indemnity limit on that particular policy.